Hello and welcome to my channel. If you are new here, hi, hey, hello. My name is Meg and we do crafty things here. So if you like crafty things, please do consider subscribing. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing and tuning in to another video. Alright guys, today we are looking at doing part 2 of our Halloween knot along, which is this Poison Apple bracelet book pattern 54966, and I'm so excited to see how this is going to turn out. Last time we left off, we had just introduced our second green color, and this time around I'm hoping to introduce both red colors. Now, here's where things get interesting. I'm going to post a poll here on the screen somewhere, because I'm wondering, would you guys prefer this to be kind of tutorial-y like the way the last one was? Or would you prefer it to be more just chatty and just like live knotting going on the screen? Let me know what you guys think, because I am down to adjust this to whatever you guys think. I really wasn't sure the best way to approach it. So if there's something that you guys think would be more entertaining to you or more informative or that you would like more, definitely leave those thoughts down below, because I'm totally open to it. And if it's something I'm able to do or feel comfortable doing, I'll totally do it. So one of you made a comment last time that suggested maybe treating it less like a tutorial and more like a chatty knot along. So if you guys could answer the poll and let me know if you would prefer just chatty knot along or kind of tutorial style like last time, that would be so helpful. Now, this time around, I am going to stick kind of to that tutorial-y style that we did last time, simply because the feedback was pretty good on that. It's got quite a few likes, so I'm going to stick with that for this time around, but we may change it up for the next part if you guys would prefer just more chatty, less tutorial. Alright, so we've gone ahead and done 5 forwards knots with our background string, which was the black, and it's forwards knots because we're working left to right, and now we're going to do a color change to our dark green. Now, last video I walked through how to do exactly every single color change. I'm not going to do that this video, but if you want more in-depth instructions on how to do a regular color change, you can check out any of my other alpha tutorials and skip ahead to a color change where I generally go in depth for the first few. Otherwise, if you want the flat alpha color change technique more in depth, you can check out part 1 of this series if you have not yet and you're just joining in. I'll link it in the cards for you guys so you can check that out. All right, with that all being said, I'm now going to switch here, another color change to the lighter green color. And we need to finish out the bottom of our stem color. So this will be the last row that has stem color in it, which is kind of exciting because then we can either trim or just completely push out of the way one of the strings, which always makes it a bit easier to do your color changes when you're not pushing other random things out of the way. So to do that, we are going to make 10 forwards green knots with our lighter green color, and then we'll color switch again. So as I was saying earlier, some of you said you really liked the chatty kind of style, so I'm not gonna like count through the knots like I normally do in a tutorial unless I'm running out of things to say, because honestly I put some music in last time because I just don't know what to talk about for an hour straight. I'm not that entertaining, I'm sorry to tell you. But I did talk about books and movies and stuff last time, and you guys gave me some good suggestions for different shows and stuff, so I'm pretty pumped to check those out. Now, to be completely honest, I don't really watch any shows except for when I'm knotting. I used to watch shows all the time and then I'd craft, so I didn't feel like I was being completely unproductive. But now I don't really have the time to do both. So I record, and like right now, while I was recording this, I had the iPad set up in the corner of the desk so I could watch Merlin, which I am still enjoying. And a few of you guys said it was your favorite series or that you really, really enjoyed that series. So that makes me so excited because I'm only like, I don't know, 3-4 episodes in. I'm not very far in at all, but I am really enjoying it so far. So hearing that it is good and some of your favorites makes me really excited. So I'm probably going to watch at least one season of that, because I don't really stick to TV shows. I don't know what it is. Like, I could really, really love and get amped up about a TV show, watch, like, binge a full season in like 2 days, and then the second season comes out and I'm like, I'm over it. I don't really care. So I don't know what it is about TV shows. Like, books, I cannot do that. I am like waiting on the edge of my seat for the next book. I am traveling to bookstores to find the sequels. And if the bookstore doesn't have it, you can bet your bottom dollar that I am at the library trying to find that thing. Okay? Like, I am searching for the next book. I cannot stop. And if I have to wait, I am losing my mind. Like, it is like marked on my calendar when the sequel comes out. Okay? So, like, the Heroes of Olympus series, I literally went to the bookstore every single day because I was like, I'm only going to get one of them so I can control myself. And I literally went back every single day and bought a new book on the series because I couldn't stop. Anyways, we've done another color change here to our dark green for 1 knot, and then we're going to switch to our dark brown, the only brown in the pattern, for 3 knots, and that will be the last we use our brown color. Honestly, I'm kind of excited about that because I think the most interesting part of this pattern is yet to come, and the stem is like the most boring part. So kudos to anyone who watched through that like full last video, because just staring at black on like black and brown on the screen, just nodding slowly, was painful for me. I can't imagine for you guys. Anyways, yeah, so we talked about Merlin books. You guys left me some book recommendations too, which I'm pretty excited about. I'm trying to clear out my unread Audible books right now. So I've paused my subscription or membership, whatever they call it, for the time being, because I've been on Audible for so long, like years now. And like, when you accumulate credits, you can only hold so many credits on your account at a time before you have to use them. Like, you can't accumulate anymore. And there was a period of time where I had the membership that you got like 2 credits a month or something like that. And I just have a truck ton of unread books, and I just started like, they'd accumulate, they'd get like, oh, like, you don't have space for your credits, you're gonna have to use them. So I just get a bunch of books that aren't necessarily something that I like super wanted. They were just like, I need to get something. Okay, this kind of sounds good. So I've got a bunch of stuff that's unread in my library, and I really want to clear it out. So almost done that. Got a few more to go. And a couple, honestly, there's a couple I wish I didn't get. Like, I got Les Mis, the audiobook. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with Les Mis. I assume probably some of you are if you're into musicals and stuff like that. But the book is about 1,000 pages long, 1,000 plus pages long. And it's all very, very slow. I have the book in like physical paper copy here as well. And I tried getting into it, and it's so slow. And from what I have been told, it's kind of like the first half of the book is what the movie or the play is, and then the rest isn't. But from what I've read a couple like chapters of it, and it is very slow going. So I kind of wish I hadn't got that, because it's like a ridiculously long audiobook, like not even funny. Anyways, we switched back to our dark green for 1 knot, and now we're doing the light green to finish out the other side of the apple. So that was 4 light green knots, and now we're switching to our dark green. And we're going to go for 2 knots with our dark green, forward knots again because we're working left to right. We'll do 2 dark green knots and then switch back to our background color to finish out the row. Much excite. I'm actually most excited for, I think, the next part, because the next part, well, you'll see where we end off. I don't want to like ruin your experience here. So we'll talk about it when we get closer to the end of this part. Where were we? What were we talking about? I don't know. What are your guys' hobbies? I think we were talking about TV shows and stuff still, but like, let's move on. What other hobbies do you guys have? So like, I do a lot of crafts. I used to read all the time. Oh, that's what we were talking about. We were talking about like Les Mis and how I wish I really didn't get that. It's like a 30+ hour audiobook. And I kind of really regret wasting a credit on it. But that's the thing I did. So I don't know if I'm going to actually listen through on that one. But I've also got another long one. I've got one of the Game of Thrones books in there to listen to as well. So maybe a while yet before I get new audiobooks. But hopefully soon. And when I do, I'll probably definitely be getting some of your guys' recommendations. Speaking of the book recommendations, though, reading, I assume, is the hobby of some of you, because every time I have said, what is your guys' favorite books, or leave a recommendation, someone has always, without fail, on every like Instagram story or Q&A or video where I ask for recommendations or talk about books, you guys, without fail, someone always mentions Sarah J. Maas. And like, yes, I am there. I am on that ship, friends. Okay. That is a fandom ship that I am for. She is so good. Like, if you're into YA fantasy and you have not yet read Sarah J. Maas, I would highly suggest. Now, a lot of people always recommend to me the Court of Thorns and Roses series. And personally, like, yes, it is really good. Personally, I love the Throne of Glass series more. That was the first series I started reading by her, and I really love that series. And the Court of Thorns and Roses series is very good as well. I actually want to reread it because it's been so long since I started it. I read the first book and then like part of the second one, got sidetracked and never went back and finished it. And it's been like a year plus maybe since then. So I kind of want to go back and actually reread it. But so many people love both of those series. So if you're looking for something new to read and you're in YA fantasy, highly recommend. Highly recommend. Okay. What else is on my shelf of books? I could talk about books like all day. Like, to be fair, like all day. So I don't want to bore you guys. In case any of you are like, I hate reading, I don't want to read, please stop talking about it. But I guess that kind of brings me to an idea I had. Maybe I'll share with you an idea I had for maybe a kind of ongoing nodding club idea, because I used to do wrap-ups. There was a period of time where like every month I would do a wrap-up. And I say a period of time, I think it was like maybe 4 or 5 months. Like it was some long time. But at the end of each month, I would show you guys what I nodded, and then I would tell you guys what I either watched, read, or listened to while I was nodding that month. And I would kind of give you guys like a really quick synopsis and like what I rated it, like out of 5 stars or whatever. And some of you guys really liked that, and it led me to thinking that maybe it could also be a fun, because I'm trying to think of things that are more interactive. What with the world situation being what it is, and some people still being at home, right? Or some people, deciding to be homeschooled this year instead of going back into like physical school. So there's a lot of people who are spending a lot more time at home, and we still need interaction with each other. So I've been trying to think of ideas that may make things more interactive. What? That may make things more interactive, especially in our community, which is what kind of brought along this idea, the nod along. But also, I had an idea a while back about doing like a nodding club video where every month we could do a poll and pick like a bracelet pattern and a book, TV show, or movie that we wanted to read, and set it for like the entire month. So it's not like a weekly thing where you have to do it really quick, but like an entire month. And then we could kind of have like an open chat about it. We can share like our thoughts and we can get the comments going and stuff. And maybe that would be a time that I would sit down and do a live video, because that, I feel like I could do that on the weekend fairly easily, and a lot more people are available on the weekends. So if you guys think that would be a cool idea, let me know down below. And like I said, each month, rather than doing like a wrap up, because some months I just really don't, not enough to do a wrap up. Like 2 bracelets doesn't really warrant a wrap up, or like 3. And some months that's honestly all I really not. So I'm kind of thinking that if we did that, then we've like knotted together. We can talk about the pattern. We could do like, I'd do like a speed knot or something of it, talk about the pattern, and we could just chat about whatever book series or episodes of a show or something that we voted on. And then if you don't like the show or whatever that came up, you don't have to participate in the listening aspect. You could participate in the nodding aspect, or none of it, or whatever. If you guys think that would be a cool idea, let me know down below if you would like that. I think it'd be fun, because everyone always does like monthly challenges and stuff on Instagram. And I know like Masha does her monthly challenge. So I thought it would be kind of cool if maybe we did something along that lines, but it was maybe not so much a challenge, but more of like a club. And we could do a live stream maybe once a month. I'm sure I could find time once a month to do a live stream where we could all join in and knot and or chat or whatever about the pattern and our listening, watching item of the month. I think that'd be fun. So let me know what you guys think. Also, I've basically not said anything about the knotting that's going on in this row. So if this is a perfect example, that poll that I was talking about, if you prefer me to just chat over it, let me know. And if you'd prefer me to instruct each line like I did last time, also let me know. I'm going to pay maybe a little bit more attention for the next row here, and we'll see how it goes. Because our next row should be the first row that we are introducing a red color. I'm so excited about this pattern, guys. I think it's really going to come together in like the second half of the bracelet. Like I feel like the top of this pattern, like when you actually look at it, isn't super exciting. Like I think once the red is introduced is when this pattern gets more exciting. But I think about halfway through is when we're really going to, or I'm really going to get excited about it. And then I think the bottom of those green drips, it's going to look so good. I'm so excited. I am amped for this. Otherwise, I'm sorry. I get so extra about patterns sometimes. Like it's ridiculous. Anyways, what other hobbies do you guys have? So obviously I like crafting. I like bracelets, knitting, crocheting. I do some Rex lace, I do some embroidery, cross stitch, all kinds of that stuff. I've also recently started getting back into houseplants. So that's kind of been a journey. It's fun, I guess. Do you guys like houseplants? Let me know. Do you like plants at all? Or do you like not have a green thumb and kill everything in sight? Because I mean, a lot of people are like that too. Let me know. Okay, so we have gone ahead and we have done 3 black knots here. And now we are going to switch and do 3 dark green knots. And sorry, it's the next row that we introduce our red. So I'm going to do my color switch to my dark green, and then we're going to, because we're working left to right on this row, we're going to finish our color change knot and then do 2 forwards knots with our dark green color. But yeah, I've got a small collection of houseplants going. And there's some embarrassing things happening in my collection, and there's some funny things happening and some really good things happening. It's an adventure, you know? All right, now I'm going to switch to my lighter green color, and we're going to carry this all the way across to the other side of our apple, and it's going to go one additional line out from our previous row of light green. But yeah, so what are some funny things going on in my collection? So for anyone who likes plants, I purchased, like, most of my plants. I don't have anything like super crazy exciting because, like I said, I'm just kind of starting to get back into them. But a lot of my like house plants I've bought at just like the grocery store or the supermarket, whatever. And so I bought this succulent because I'd never had a succulent before, and I found one on sale at the grocery store, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna get this cute little succulent. Like, it looks cute, you know, lots of people love succulents and stuff like that, so I'm gonna get this. And I tried to use like one of those plant apps that you take the picture and it identifies the plant, you know. There's like a billion of them, but yeah, I downloaded an app, took a picture of it, and it told me it was an echeveria. I don't remember which kind, and it basically said that the plant should stay like relatively short unless it's lacking in sunlight. Then it will start to stretch to try and reach sunlight, as a number of plants do. That's not really super specific to succulents. A lot of plants do that, where they'll like bend or move or grow out towards where the light is. Like, that's where they get their energy and stuff from. That's where they get their food from. You know, photosynthesis and all that jazz needs the sun. So anyways, the succulent, I had it in the windowsill, and I was like, surely it's the brightest windowsill in my house. Surely it is getting enough light, but still this succulent was like stretching. So I was like, well, this app told me like it shouldn't stretch, so I'm gonna cut it back and try and see if I can get it back to a short, more compact succulent. So I was like, well, if this doesn't work, I don't want it to have wrecked my plant, because I cut off basically like the top half of the plant to reroot in soil. And then I was like, maybe I'll take a few of these leaves or petals, whatever you want to call them, and I will propagate them. So I took like 10 or 15 of them off, and I was like, surely only like 5 of them are going to work. And yeah, all of them did. So now I've got like 16 of the exact same succulent plant in various stages of growth right now. And I don't know what to do with them, because I really don't want that many of them, but I don't want to just throw them out either, because like they're perfectly healthy growing little plants. And yeah, that was my own dumb fault for doing that, because then I downloaded a different plant app that was like cheaper for the monthly subscription or whatever, and found out that it wasn't the kind of succulent I thought it was, and it's supposed to grow tall. So I cut my plant apart for no reason, and now have like 20, a bunch, I don't even know how many, a bunch of baby succulents in various stages of growth, like I said, of this succulent, plus the top of the plant took off again and is starting to like grow tall again. You know why? Because it's supposed to. So that's a ridiculous thing that has happened in my plant journey, which I didn't know. So that was fun. What are some embarrassing things? The embarrassing thing I have going on is I have a spider plant. You know, a lot of people recognize the spider plant. That's like a classic thing that almost everyone has in their home. And it's often labeled as like unkillable. Well, let me tell you after we start this next row here. So I did a color switch, like I had said, to that dark green. And then I did just the one knot with that. And now we're switching back to the black color. And I'm going to finish out the row with 3 black knots. And then we're going to turn around and do 2 black knots at the start of our next row. Now, back to my spider plant. So my spider plant, I got it again from the grocery store. No pests or anything. It was really, really good. It was healthy. And I brought it home and I was watering it and, you know, doing all the things. And it was growing really good. And then it got to kind of a certain size and I had to up pot it. Like, it was too big for its pot. There was roots coming out the bottom. And, like, it was still relatively small. Like, it was just like I had bought it as a baby and it was growing bigger. So it obviously needed to be up potted because it wasn't fully mature yet. So I couldn't find a pot in town that was just one size up. So I put it in an even bigger pot. And then I started to notice like the tips of the little leaves getting brown. And so basically what I'm trying to say is I have a bunch of plants in my collection and a bunch of them that aren't necessarily like unkillable. And here I am, the only plant in my collection that I am actually struggling with is the spider plant that like everyone else on the planet seems to be able to keep alive, and mine looks horrendous. Like, I have almost thrown it out. It looks like poop. It looks garbage. It does not look good. It is like wilting and brown and like dying, and I'm trying to revive it, and I finally got new growth coming in on it that's not turning brown at the tips of the leaves. But I have to like distill water and everything else for this plant, even though there's no fluoride in our water or anything, and everything I read said it would be fluoride that's turning that. And like, spider plant's been a headache. My snake plant's doing good though. My Christmas cactus is doing good. My poinsettia is doing good. My coffee plant is doing great. My aloe plant is doing great. My heartleaf philodendron is doing great. My Dieffenbachia is doing really good. So everything else I have is doing great, except for that stupid spider plant. I even unpotted it and like separated out a small pup that was like a new offshoot that was in the pot to try and like see if I could salvage one of the two. And for a while, the little one I had separated off was doing really good. And now they're just both like dying. And I don't know why. I'm really tempted to throw them out and just get a whole new spider plant and try again from scratch. But so that's kind of embarrassing because like, who kills a spider plant? Me, apparently. But that's a thing. So yikes. Anyone who, like I said, has plants will probably be laughing hysterically right now because I don't have a whole ton of experience with houseplants. So I've been venturing into it, and like poinsettias I've had before and Dieffenbachias I've had before, and they've been really good. But then I got cats, so I got rid of them because my dumb cat decided to eat or chow down on a dead poinsettia leaf, and like she only swallowed like the tiniest bit, but it is a what is the word I'm looking for? Irritant. Like to humans too, it's just an irritant, so it made her throw up everywhere, and I wasn't sure which plant was causing it at the time, so I just threw out both of them and never went back to houseplants. I grew some vegetables and stuff for a while, but then that was that. So I'm just starting to get back into like houseplants specifically and not so much the vegetables, but yeah, that's been my adventure so far. And I've just switched over to grow lights, and I am having some experiences with those, trying to find the right place for them to do the best for my plants. But anyways, moving on. I just spent like half this video talking about plants, and most of you probably don't care. So that's awkward, but hi, hey, hello. How's it going? I do crafty things and plants sometimes. Unless they're a spider plant, then I just kill it. Basically, it is still alive. To be fair, it is not dead yet. The poor thing has been suffering for a while, though, I will admit. Anyways, we are now into our light green again. So we did 5 knots in our light green, then we switched colors to our dark green for 3 knots. Now we're back in our light green, and we'll be in our light green for 9 knots. So I've already done 4 here. We'll do 5 more. And then we'll be switching to our dark green. Now, what about you guys? If you are into plants, let me know what you have in your collection. But if you aren't into plants, what are you into? Let me know that down below. And if it's something I'm into, well, maybe we'll talk about it next video. Yeah. But also, if you guys want to see any of those other crafts that I do in a tutorial or a video or something, let me know, because I'd be happy to do something. I've had requests about cross stitch and knitting before, so I could definitely do videos on those too, as well as crochet. So, you know, whatever. All right, now we're going to do a color change. We're going to bring our dark green back in, and we're going to do 3 knots all together with our dark green. And this is kind of the top right hand side of the left heart eye. So there's 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to do a color change for 1 knot. We're going to switch to our lighter green color. Sorry, I'm going to slow down on the chatty right now because my throat is sore from talking for like half an hour straight. More than half an hour straight, because I did a couple takes on the beginning because I didn't like how I had worded some things. All right, so switching to the light green for just 1 knot. And then it's time for something exciting. We get to add in our red string. Yes, we get to finally add in the dark red. Whoop whoop. I'm so excited. I think the bright red is going to look so good. Oh, I'm so excited. And yes, there's a cut on my hand. I don't know what it's from. It's got to be from like the cat, or I caught it on something. I really don't know. But also, it's finally long enough that I can just tape directly under where I need the string to be. So that's also very exciting, because you generally have to pull it out and use like extra string and stuff to anchor it up higher. So that's always nice when you can anchor in pretty much right underneath where you need your string, or close enough that it's easier to work with and uses less, or wastes less string rather. Okay, so now we're going to do 2 knots with our dark red string, or this kind of burgundy color if you're like me and that's what you have in your pack. You know, afterwards I was thinking about, after I'd already started this, I should have maybe dived into that other string I have. If you guys watched like my string organization and like my Brick Stitch Alpha Knotting Dangerously, you'll see that I got some string off of Wish that's just got a lot of really unique like mid-tone colors and shades and stuff. And I'm willing to bet if I'd had I can't talk today. Wow. If I had dug into that enough, I probably would have been able to find just a nice dark red and a bright red, and just probably would have been able to get a lot more of the shades I wanted, because there's a lot less skeins of like the same color and just a lot more color range there seems to be from the outside anyways. I honestly haven't pulled it all out and looked at it all. I've only looked at it from the outside, and there's like 400 and something skeins in there. So that's fun, but I'd already started by the time I thought about that, so we're sticking with what we got here, and maybe the next bracelet we'll use that stuff again. So now we're going to do our 2 dark green knots. So we color switched out of our 2 burgundy into our 2 dark green, and at this moment I'm kind of questioning the burgundy, but I think once the red is against it, it will look good, because the burgundy, it's supposed to be like a shadow, right? And a lot of the times, like when you're drawing and stuff, I find anyways, when you're drawing and you're drawing in shadows, it's always a little bit darker than you think it is to get the dimension that you want. So I think once we see the bright red against it, and we've got like that solid line around the top of the like eye holes in this, I think it's going to look really good. But I do specifically remember as I was knotting this, and even right now watching this as I'm doing the voiceover, I'm looking at that dark burgundy and I'm like, did I make the right choice here? Did I? Maybe I should have chose just that middle red and just been a little bit unhappy about how close the contrast was. But I digress. Here we are. So I did 2 knots with the black string. Once we got to the end of that row, 2 knots with the black string to start this one. And then I've switched to the dark green color for 1 knot, and now I'm going to switch back to our burgundy / dark red color for 1 knot. And then friends, we introduce the bright red. So exciting. So exciting. All right. So just 1 burgundy knot. There we are. And now we're going to bring in that red color. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Now we've got this bright red anchored and ready to go. We are going to do 2 knots with our brighter red. So we're going to color change from our dark to our bright red. And then do 1 additional forwards knot with our red color. And for whatever reason, I seemed to struggle more with this red color change, this red and the burgundy color change, than I did the green and like the brown and stuff. I don't know why, whether I just didn't pull the string maybe horizontal enough to make it sit nicely, or whether it's just the shade makes that bass string, the tiniest amount of it poking out, that much more noticeable. I'm not really sure, but I did a lot of playing with this on screen and off screen after I finished recording. Just not quite happy with how that lined up. I'm not sure if you can really see, but it kind of flashes every now and then. There's like a tiny dot of bass string that you can see in between the dark red and the bright red knot, and it's kind of driving me nuts. I might actually take the row apart and fix it. But I thought maybe the next row I could push it up enough that it won't be noticeable. But mark my words, I have said it a number of times, when you see the mistake, you should fix it right away, because adding more knots will not fix it. And here I am trying to do exactly what I said I shouldn't do, and it still hasn't fixed it. So there you go. I'm not lying. But I think I'm just going to carry on. I'm sitting here thinking about undoing that whole last row, and I'm not here for it. I'm not. I really don't want to undo it, and I don't think it's that noticeable. So I think I'm just going to leave it. But I did realize that I did a knot of the wrong color here. I did the light green. What am I even doing? I did do a knot of the wrong color there. It's supposed to be dark green, and I did a knot in the light green color. So I'm just going to undo that and switch it, because we just need 1 dark green knot, and on that particular part it's like a little kind of drip that's really going to give the shadowed effect we need. Otherwise, if it wasn't so much to the effect of the pattern, I probably would have just left it and moved on. But it really does, it's like a shadow outline, so I definitely want to make sure it's right, otherwise it will look a little bit odd. So I've done 2 knots with my bright red, and now we're going to switch to the dark green. I just got really close to the microphone when I said that, so sorry if I just like blew your eardrums, headphone wearers. We're gonna switch to the dark green for just 1 knot, and then we're going to switch to our dark red for 3. There we go. Dark green. Looking better. Looking better. Honestly, it doesn't make a difference right now, but in the end product, I think it will make a big difference. That's why I bothered to change it, because sometimes in a big pattern like this, one knot, if I do it like the color of something is not supposed to be, I'll just adjust the pattern. Or in many cases, you can do it and you don't even notice. So in this case, like I said, that dark green is supposed to be like a shadowed effect. So I really wanted to make sure I got the correct thing in there, otherwise it would look weird. All right, so now we've color changed into our dark red, and we are going to do 3 knots of the dark red and switch back to our dark green. Okay, and now we're going to color change to our dark green for just a single knot. And because all these colors are still fairly new, there's going to be a lot of manipulation going on here. So when I say I cut out a lot in my tutorials, you guys will see. You really will. See, I literally played with that single knot for almost a minute. Not even joking. All right, now we're switching to our light green, and we're going to travel across 4 knots, and then we'll be in our second apple eye. Okay, and now, like I said, we're going to grab our dark green string. So we're going to color change and do 3 knots with our dark green string. and then color change back to our light green for a single knot. And once we've done that single light green knot, we're going to switch to our dark red, introducing it finally to the right hand side of our pattern for the first time. And we are going to do 3 knots with our dark red color here. And honestly, I'm still a bit nervous about this. Even with the bright red slowly, like the 2 knots on the left hand side, I'm still really not sure about it. And I think it's because with this little amount done, it kind of gives the impression that the apple is going to be this really, really dark red color, which obviously isn't the case, but that's kind of what this looks like right now because we haven't gotten like deep into the actual like bright red of the apple yet. And I think that's why I'm kind of like, I don't know about this right now, but trying to keep my hopes high because I think this bright red is really what's going to make this pattern pop. So I'm still holding out hope. All right, now we're going to switch to our dark green for a single knot to give that shadowed effect again. And then swap out our dark green for a light green. And then our light green is going to carry on for 4 knots. Alright guys, we're nearing the end of the video. This is going to be our last line. So we've switched for our dark green now. We're going to do a single dark green knot and then finish out our last 2 knots in this row with our black string. All right, so that completes our final row for this part. I'm gonna play and adjust with these knots some. If you guys are nodding along, how are you enjoying this pattern so far? And what colors did you choose? Did you opt for the green drips and the red apple as well? Or did you choose to mix it up? Did you maybe do like, I don't know, yellow might have looked cool, or pink, like a vibrant pink would have looked kind of cool too. Anyways, like I said, this is where we're going to leave off this time around. I'm super excited for the next part because I think these heart eyes are what's really going to pop. So if you like this, please give it a thumbs up, and until next time,